What's up, comic book fans? And welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me. And today, we got more Weapon X-Men. This time with the fourth and final issue of this mini-series. And if you've missed any part of this series, then I'll place a card at the top of your screen right now. And I'll put a link at the end of the video. But this series has been kind of a sleeper. It's been very entertaining, and we got to see the return of a classic villain in Onslaught that people have really been missing. Albeit in a different form, though. But what's cool is that to take on Onslaught, the Phoenix enlisted the help of a multiversal group of Wolverines. But when we last left off, one of those Wolverines received an offer from Onslaught to turn on the others. So if you guys are ready to find out if Old Man Logan took the offer from Onslaught, and if you're ready to find out how this series comes to an end, then you guys know what time it is. Let's get it. So this issue starts off with Wolverine more than 50 years ago, when an army of villains put aside their differences and joined forces. They had attacked the X-Mansion, and Wolverine was forced to kill them all to protect the students and his teammates. But as the villains began to perish, one of them questioned why Logan was doing this to his friends. And that's when it's revealed that those weren't villains at all. They were the X-Men, and he had been tricked by Mysterio into killing each and every one of them. Then we pick up in current day. As Old Man Logan explains this story, it's revealed that he had flipped on his whole team and incapacitated them. He's even got zombie rings skewered on a tree branch. Who happens to tell Old Man Logan about how depressing that story of his was. It don't make you any less of a jerk though, Zombie tells him. You lure us here like this, one by one, and turn traitor? Take us out like Sonny Corleone? I got a zombie virus in my brain. What's your excuse? But Old Man Logan tells him that he's just giving his excuse. Then he binds Zombie's hands and face, and he pulls him down from the tree. Then he binds up the rest of the team. So where'd you get all this freaky tech anyway, Zombie asks. And that's when Onslaught shows up and accepts responsibility for arming Old Man Logan with the tech. Onslaught, I knew it, Zombie proclaims. I can't decide if I'm more annoyed at the old man for stabbing us in the back, or you for not coming to me first. But Onslaught admits that he'd actually considered using Zombie. But Phoenix doesn't trust Zombie like she trusts Old Man Logan. So Zombie asks Onslaught what it offered the old man to get him to flip on him. And when he accurately guesses that it was an offer to send the old man back in time to save his friends, he ridicules the old man for falling for one of the oldest tricks ever. If Onslaught could have went back in time, he already would have. And Onslaught admits that it's true. It can't travel back right now. But with the power of the Phoenix in addition to its own, it'll be able to do anything. Then Onslaught tells the old man that it's removed the mental blocks that stopped his team from calling the Phoenix. But now it wants Old Man Logan to summon her. So he does just that. And when she arrives, expecting a fight with Onslaught, Old Man Logan pops his claws and stabs her in the back. And now with her wounded, Onslaught attacks. As wounded as she is, Onslaught can simply rip the Phoenix Force right from her. But in doing so, the Phoenix would also consume the world upon which they stand. So it offers for the Phoenix to give the power over to it. And in exchange, it will honor its previous bargain of avoiding Jean Grey's home world, and it will spare this world. And why? Why should I care about this world, Jean asks. And that's when Onslaught tells her to use her power to sense the people of this world. This is the type of world that she'd consider a place of happy endings for her and her allies. Then Old Man Logan adds in that she's already beaten. They were never gonna win this fight, so he made a deal. Then he tries to convince Jean Grey to just give up the power. Let Onslaught screw with those bad universes like the Cancerverse, or a Nazi world, or a zombie world. It's her best play, he tells her. So eventually Jean decides to cave in and give up her power to Onslaught. Meanwhile, as she transfers her powers, Jane wakes up and she kicks that mouth guard covering Zombie's face and has him bite off her binders, and then they free the other Wolverines. But Onslaught cannot afford any interruptions, so he has Old Man Logan to hold off his teammates. So the old man blocks them from interfering, and and Zombie asks for permission to take a bite out of the old guy. And the fat one, of course, grants him that permission. But old man Logan ain't afraid to die, he tells them. He's been trying for 50 damn years. And then they all jump into battle with the old man. But he holds his own, and he really kicks each and every one of their asses. He really is the best of them. He even stomps on Jane's hand, crushing her bone claws. And then he faces off with Age of Apocalypse Logan, and he makes a wisecrack about having to sheathe his other set of claws to make it more of a fair fight. But that won't be necessary since old Stubby Ring can still pop his claws through his stump. But then Onslaught brings them to a halt. There's no need for this, it tells them. And then Onslaught begins to feel remorseful of what it's done. And at first, Fat Boy doesn't believe him. He thinks that this is another Onslaught trick. But Jean Grey informs him that it is no trick. She still has her mental powers, and she senses no tricks. In fact, she thinks that she understands what's happening here. The Phoenix is life incarnate, and this aspect of the Phoenix Force has spent decades with her, saving life, loving, and being loved. So now Onslaught has absorbed all of that, and now it wants forgiveness. Everything that it has been doing has been out of fear and pain. And Jean Grey asks old man Logan if he knew that this would happen, and he tells her that he did have a hunch. She says she brought him here to make the tough calls, and so he made one. He couldn't share his plans, though, without alerting Onslaught. So to keep his plan hidden in his mind, he filled it with memories of killing his friends. And now the new Onslaught apologizes to old man Logan for using his tragedy against him, but it will still honor their deal to take him back in time. But unfortunately, it wouldn't change the past. It would just create another timeline. So he decides to not go through with it. It's time for him to come to terms with what he's done and live with it. Then Onslaught tells Jean that it wishes it could return her power to her, but then it turned back into the same old Onslaught again. Keep it, she tells it, as long as the Phoenix Force is willing. And the Phoenix Force is indeed willing and eager. It wants to explore the cosmos. But it decides to leave behind a spark of its power with Jean Grey, the power to traverse dimensions, so she could take the others back to where they would like to go so they can find happiness. And afterwards, all of the rest of the Wolverines are expectantly skeptical that this could be another trick. But Jean Grey assures them that they have indeed won, so she begins to send each of the Wolverines back to their respective universes. But in Zombie's world, there's no one left alive, and he would rather go to a world where he can have some fun without hurting anybody. So Jean decides to send him to Earth 91, a world full of man things. And for Zombie, this is like a world of vegetables, so he hates it. Meanwhile, Fat Ring goes back to Earth 9997, and he reconnects with his Jean Grey. Old man, though, he doesn't want to go back to his world. There's nothing left for him there. So he and Jean Grey decide that they will stay here and visit this happy ending world. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of this issue and this series. So what did you guys think about the issue and the series as a whole? I thought it was a very entertaining series, but if I'm being honest, they kind of lost me with this finale. Onslaught took the power of the Phoenix and turned good? Yeah, okay. Even if the explainer made sense, it's still kind of boring to have Onslaught end up as the good guy. And also, I know that old man Logan had a plan the whole time, but it ain't no way I'm gonna forgive him that easy. He smashed the hell out of Jane's claws. He deserved at least a good stabbing before she went back home. But all in all, I did have fun reading this series. And to me, Zombie Wolverine stole the show. He was the most consistent character throughout this series. But I want to hear from you guys. What did you guys like about it? Or what did you not like about it? And what would you change if you could? And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel, and you'd like to support the channel, then you could do so by stopping by the Comics Icon store and picking you up some of this new merchandise, including the background music heard right here in this video available for download, or by joining the Iconic Fan Club channel membership, and it'll be a link in the description to join. But with your membership, you'll gain access to weekly interactive live streams with yours truly, where we could talk about everything that's been going down in these issues, as well as ones that you'd like for me to go over in the future and other comic book news. Plus, you guys will get loyalty badges, member shout-outs, and up to 20% off of Comics Icons merchandise from the Comics Icons store. And now we've got new tiers to the membership starting at just 99 cents. Now, how's that for an easy way to help out and support your favorite channel? Or you guys can donate to the channel with a super thanks. And if you're not able to do any of these, then you could also still be a tremendous help to the future of this channel by dropping a like, share, and subscribing to Comics Icons for more icons in the comic book world. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. I'm out.